Commentary, the game at the King Power Stadium is finally ready to resume. We had a long delay in the middle of that first half after our referee Dave Webb got injured. Sam Barrett had to replace him, but we are now underway in this second half. Leicester leading against Southampton by 2-0. Vardy and Ayew with the goals for the Foxes. And we need to see a proper responsive from Southampton, because we didn't really see it in the first half. They didn't really play like a side who were a goal down or 2 goals down. They need to show a bit more resilience now to try and make the game a bit more exciting, because Leicester, for all their problems at home, have actually looked very solid in this game, maybe down to their opposition. But it's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and James Smedley. James, we were just saying off air that really we need to see a bit more from Southampton, but Leicester could quite easily go on and score another couple in this second half.
Oh, absolutely. I think at points in that first half, Leicester could have had 3 or 4. Southampton really offered nothing in the attack. They built a little bit of pressure towards the final 10 minutes in that long period of additional time that we did get due to a refereeing issue. But other than that, I mean, they really offered nothing, did the Saints. And Leicester, they won't have had a more comfortable first half all season long. I mean, goal scoring aside, it was just made so easy for them by the visitors. It
really was, and we're hoping there's going to be a bit more fight here from Southampton, because they have made a double change at half-time. Tyler Dibling has come on to replace Jack Stevens, and obviously Dibling ain't going to go into the back 3. And I'm imagining Southampton are going to go to a back 4 now and allow Dibling to have that little bit more freedom to try and get further forward. But it's Leicester on the attack as well. The second change, by the way, Ross Stewart has gone off to be replaced by Paul Onuachu. I'll remind you of the full 11s in just a moment, but we've got a ball into the box, which is headed away by Ryan Manning. So inside the first 90 seconds of the second half, we've got our first corner kick here for Leicester City, and the big men, including Conor Cody, coming up for this one. No changes for Leicester, so I'll remind you of their 11 in just a second. We're going to see an out-swinging ball here from Jordan Ayew, goal scorer of the second goal for Leicester this afternoon. Plenty of activity inside that 6-yard box. It's an out-swinging ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a good header away by Bednarik. Second ball coming back here on the right-hand side. So with Ayew again, there's an overlap here from Ndidi. He's got no way of getting the ball into the box, so it goes back to Jordan Ayew. He's clipped away from Walker Peters. The ball into the box, a bit too low this time. Manning doesn't get that much distance on the clearance, just goes up in the air, still at the edge of the area. It's eventually played out towards Ayew again. 3 times now that Southampton can't get the ball away. They may get a bit of a break now, because I think Fernandes might have been tripped there as he tried to get the ball away. So it will be a free kick to the Saints. So just to remind you, still out chicken goal for Leicester. Back 4 of James, Faith, Cody and Thomas. And Ndidi and Skipper, the 2 holder midfielders, with McAteer, Elkanous and Ayew as the attacking midfield 3 playing behind Vardy. For Southampton, it is Ramsdale and goal. Looks like it's a back 4 now with Walker Peters, Harwood Bellis, Bednarik and Manning. Then it's 4 in the middle of Fernandes, Downs, Ugachukwu, and it may just be actually a 4-3-3 with those 3 in midfield, and then Dibling, Sulemana and Onuachu, who comes on for Stewart as the attacking 3. I hope that made sense, but in any case, it's Southampton now at the edge of their own penalty area. Long ball over the top here from Manning, looking for the run of Onuachu. It bounces just in front of him, and Justin combined with Ndidi is able to win the ball back. And if they're going to be long balls up to Onuachu, then it's going to be a long second half for Southampton as well.
It absolutely is. I mean, Onuachu, yes, he's very gifted in the air and physically adds something different to what Stewart, I think, does in that first half for Southampton, but he's got to have proper service. And he's a poaching striker. He's not one that's going to necessarily be beating players in that Leicester back line. So if you're going to be putting long balls that are flat into him, you're not going to get much joy. If they cross into the box, I think that's where they will have a little bit more success.
To try and get a bit more, get some more support up there for him. He's not going to be able to do it all on his own, as Walker Peters now playing it all the way back towards Aaron Ramsey. Just to say as well, if we didn't mention it, with so much happening in our game towards the end of the first half, that Ipswich did get a goal back in that game against Everton. It's 2-1 to Everton in that game, and Cisse with the goal there. But that game's obviously well into the second half. They're about 8 minutes ahead of us, as here comes Southampton now. It's a good run from Onuachu into the penalty. Oh, it was a run down the left-hand side from Sulemana. Onuachu was waiting inside the penalty area, but the ball just doesn't find him in the end. But that's a bit better from Southampton, not quite as long ball, a bit more on the deck. And as I say, that cutback isn't actually too bad. It's just that Cody was in the right. Conor Cody was in the right position.
Indeed, he was, and he does well actually, just to not put that ball back into a dangerous area. Yes, it's collected well by the goalkeeper, but even still, that could have gone anywhere from the Cody intervention. So does well just to control it and then let his goalkeeper pick that ball up there, because that could have been a dangerous situation.
Southampton now trying to win the ball back here in midfield. Cody's ball through the middle is cut out by a sliding challenge from Leslie Ugachukwu, and it's played all the way back towards the Leicester City penalty area. Marczyk, the young Polish keeper, under a bit of pressure here. He can't pick it up with that ball being played back to him, but in the end he's got enough space and time to find Ndidi through the middle. It's now face on the left-hand side, going back towards his keeper, pressing here from Mateus Fernandes. So we need to see a bit more from Southampton, a bit more energy, a few more players pushing further up the field, and they're actually trying to do that now. But despite that, Leicester City are still able to be quite comfortable in possession inside their own half. It's with James Justin now playing it back towards Leicester again. Here comes Face going through the middle. It's got options here left and right, just stops and plays it in towards Ollie Skip. It's now with Ndidi towards Jordan Ayew. There's another player further over there on the right hand side. That's where the ball has gone. And so decent work, good work there from Mugachukwu to win that ball back for Southampton. Plays it up towards Onuachu. He does well to hold it up. Was he challenged there? I thought there might have been a foul. Referee's not interested though, as Leicester have the ball back now on the left hand side here with Luke Thomas. As I say, just little glimmers here from Southampton, but we do need to see a little bit more energy from them, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and again it goes back to what you were saying earlier about giving Onuachu the support that he needs. He's had runners from Sulemana and now Dibbling, two out-and-out wingers that they now have on the pitch, Southampton, which could perhaps change the dynamic in which they attack. But even still, Sulemana, when he gets the ball, he's holding on to it and he's drifting infield, which then takes away the option for the return pass back out wide. So it's the same issue. Despite having two out-and-out wingers, the ball is always still being put into that central area.
It is, and it's I say, and if we're spotting that, then you'd imagine the Leicester players on the field are spotting that even quicker, and they're just going to be able to adapt and make sure that everything that is going through the middle that is going to be dealt with. But Dibbling now pressing on Stellatic, we need to see that bit more of that, absolutely. Leicester are quite happy just to exchange around 15-20 passes inside their own half. So now Southampton are trying to press further forward. They're going to give away a free kick here, though, because just as Leicester were trying to go on an overlap, Kamaldeen Sulemana just catches James Justin in full flight, and that will be a yellow card for the big man for Southampton.
Indeed, and it's good play from Justin actually, getting that 1-2. Good flick on there from Ayew, although it wasn't convincing. I think Jordan Ayew was initially fouled as well there, so two in quick succession. The referee doesn't give the one on Ayew because of the advantage being played for Justin. Justin then brought down, well-deserved yellow card there. Southampton still struggling. Yeah,
I mean, that advantage lasted all of a couple of seconds, didn't it, before the second foul. Slightly more telling one there from Sulemana. So Leicester just played a short ball here after that free kick. It's with Face now on the halfway line. Finds Thomas on the left-hand side, but again, Leicester don't want to go into too much of a mode. I appreciate they're not going to try and give the ball away too easily, but we've had a good 2 or 3 minutes now of Leicester just quite happily holding onto the ball inside their own half. Needs to try and push a bit further forward now as Vardy's drops a bit deeper. Has to try and encourage his players to do exactly that. And Ndidi now finding Skip, and Face stepping forward, joining the midfield here as it's Thomas getting towards the edge there. It's a bit better from Leicester now. Here's El Kanous. He dances his way into the box and he goes for goal as well, and it deserved a better finish than that, really, because he suddenly had all that space at the edge of the box. He actually had probably more time and space than he realised. Once he dropped his shoulder and got away from the defender, he could have actually started going towards goal.
Well, it's in Leicester's brightest spark. The Moroccan attacker does really, really well. Gets away from Harwood Burst with ease, like he's not even there. The Southampton number 6. It's that brilliant drop of the shoulder, you're right, and then the flip-flap. It goes through Harwood Burst's legs as well, and I think you're right. He just needs to take perhaps a second there, a microsecond, just to calm himself down before that finish, because he kind of snatches at it a little bit with the inside of his right foot.
It was almost instinctive. You could see from that replay, I never really looked at where the goal was. He sort of obviously knows where the goal is, but maybe if he'd just taken that extra second, looked to see exactly where the top corner was, then maybe he would have found it, and that certainly would have wrapped the game up. At 2-0 down, Southampton already up against it at 3-0. They're not going to come back from that. So just to remind you, on our service this evening, coming up in just over an hour, we've got Arsenal against Bournemouth, which could be a very interesting game as well. Bournemouth have been sort of a bit hot and cold over the last couple of months, and Arsenal at home, you'd always imagine them to be favourites, but they can be got at as well, so that should be a very interesting game later this evening. Plenty of Premier League action tomorrow as well, and on Monday before we come back on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday with the second leg of all the European semi-finals, and then of course by Friday night, I believe, maybe even Thursday night, the playoffs in the Football League will start in earnest as well, so it's a very exciting time towards the end of the season. But Southampton now, they're trying to create a bit of excitement here for their travelling fans. They've got possession here down the right-hand side with Kyle Walker-Peters heading towards the penalty area. Just leaves the ball here for Tyler Dibbling. He's hardly had a chance to get a touch of the ball really since he's come on. It's now with Mugachukwu. Good ball there from Sulemana to find Dibbling on the right-hand side. Back in towards Flynn Downs. It's about 25 yards out from Leicester's goal. It's Walker-Peters now on the right-hand side. He did have an overlap, but just cuts it back in towards Flynn Downs again. He plays it across towards Manning. It's now on the left-hand side here for Onuachu. Onuachu's ball is a good one. It's a good header as well, and Southampton have got a goal back, but it looks like the offside flag may just put pay to that. But once again, that's better from Southampton. More players pushing forward and causing some chaos inside that Leicester box.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Onuachu's initial header's onside, but the follow-up coming in from Fernandes after the save came in from the Leicester City goalkeeper may be offside. See a replay. Onuachu's onside. When the header comes in, Fernandes is miles off.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, I can't even blame him for that. He's following the ball. It happens so quickly. I mean, if he hadn't have gone for it and Onuachu's missed it, we would have said, well, why isn't Fernandes following that cross? So he has to do it. But once the save is made and then he's trying to get the second ball, then he was, as I say, a good couple of yards offside. There's no need for any kind of a semi-automated help for that one. And it's a free kick now taken, long ball from Szczerbakowicz up towards. We're going to get a break and play here. There's players down all over the shop here. I think the referee has now spotted that there's 2 players down inside the Leicester City half. It's Jordan Ayew who seems to have taken a blow to the head. Ironic, of course, as he's the one that caused the blow to the referee's head earlier in the game. And so we'll see what's happened here. He's gone up with Ugachukwu. And it's almost like Ugachukwu sort of his elbow's gone across Ayew, and then he's landed on top of him as well.
Yeah, I was almost something out of a wrestling film there as the 2 players collide mid-air. Ayew back to his feet and seems to be okay. No need potentially for a concussion protocol. Of course, we saw one with the referee earlier in that first half that was fairly lengthy, so almost as a neutral. You're glad to see Ayew's okay, but also there's not going to be a long delay in the second half as well, potentially.
Absolutely. We're going to see a double change here for Southampton, though. Will Smallbone's getting ready to come on. I'm just trying to see who the other player is who's getting ready to come on. So is that James Bree as well, the midfielder? Wait and see, but it is going to be with Smallbone coming on, that's for sure. It's Fernandes and Sulemana who are going to be coming off here. And say Fernandes, it's going to be Robinson, in fact, is the other player to come on. So Jay Robinson and Will Smallbone coming on here for Mateus Fernandes and Kamaldeen Sulemana. I wonder if that yellow card for Sulemana might have just pushed Simon Ross-Handed with that one as well.
Yeah, you can see his temper was starting to flare a little bit, the number 20 for Southampton. He wasn't really getting on the ball much, wasn't really getting found as well in positive areas, so perhaps temper just boiling over him. What's been a frustrating season for him. He was once such a hot prospect, and then I think since signing to Southampton hasn't really set the world alight, really, so to speak. I don't think his output quite matches the potential that we saw in his time playing it in France as well. So not really an ideal, career change, I don't think, going to Southampton, because they're a side that really don't put too much emphasis on attacking.
No, they don't. I think also it's very difficult to have a fair assessment of any player for Southampton over the last season. I think that because they have been so, the back end of their Premier League season before they got relegated, that there was some really sort of interesting transfers, as you mentioned there, and some players that really perhaps couldn't quite live up to expectations. And of course, this season they've just really been off the pace pretty much since the first game. So it's hard to really assess, but it does mean, of course, that there could be some, as we were talking about in the first half, there could be some transfer bargains for other clubs if some of these players aren't going to be on the move. As we're at 58 minutes, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Leicester City 2, Southampton 0, and it's still Everton 2, Ipswich 1 in the other game in the Premier League. In the earlier Premier League game, it finished Villa 1, Fulham 0. It's now back with Szczerbakowicz, the Leicester keeper. Long ball over towards the left-hand side, headed down by Walker-Peters, and then while he was waiting for that ball to bounce, there was Harwood-Bellis. He gets the free kick in the end. Jamie Vardy's not impressed with that decision. I think it is a foul, but in any case, Harwood-Bellis commits that cardinal sin. You don't let the ball bounce in front of the box.
Yeah, I think he gets away with one there, does the former Manchester City defender, because I'm not even sure if there's much of a foul in that one at all.
I don't think there is at all. I think that, to say, in this modern era, even the biggest, strongest centre-backs and goalkeepers have learned how to show the referee that there's been a bit of contact, and I think that's worked in Harwood-Bellis' favour there. But Ramsdale now with this free kick for the Saints, straight down the middle, heading towards the edge of the... In fact, it's too long from Ramsdale, and then goes past Paul Onuachu and ends up straight back with the other goalkeeper here, Szczerbakowicz, who just rolls it out towards Wout Face. Comfortable on the ball here, the Belgian defender, finding Thomas on the left-hand side. Back now with El Canouse. Playing it towards the edge of his own penalty area. Smallbone is pressing now, and Szczerbakowicz taking a little bit too long on that one. He was just a little bit too laid back, but in the end comfortably gets that one towards Cody, and then it suddenly opens up here for James Justin on the right-hand side. He's herring down that right-hand side over the halfway line. There's absolutely nobody trying to stop him. Then he gets the ball to the edge there. It eludes Ayew, but it's kept alive here by Thomas. Vardy then gets the ball in towards El Canouse. If anything, Leicester players are getting each other's way, but there may still be a chance here on the right-hand side. No shot coming in the end, and it's eventually cleared. And Manning should be able to just make sure he keeps that from. Make sure he does go out for a goal kick, which it eventually does. I'll get my words out, and it's out for a goal kick to Southampton. But on the one hand, it's a great run from Justin, but there was absolutely no resistance at all.
No, there wasn't. And again, formational issues really being Southampton's kryptonite, not just in this game, but in the season in general. There should never be that much space for a fullback to run into. I think he's carried that ball 70, 80 yards, James Justin there, from almost level with the byline when he receives that pass. It's good play out from the back, actually, from Leicester initially, but as we say, James Justin should not have been allowed to carry that ball virtually untouched.
It actually started from the keeper being a little bit too laid back and playing the ball away from his own penalty area. Now there's been a challenge in the middle of the park, and Will Smallbone has... is that Jamie Vardy he's clattered into there? Referee Sam Barrett just standing over this one. It was Onuachu who headed it down. And, in fact, it was on the right as KC McAteer, I beg your pardon. He was one who was caught there. Will Smallbone certainly not one who's not afraid to put a challenge in. And it almost looks like he's come onto the field just to try and give a bit more steel to Southampton in the middle of the park. It's with Walker Peters now on the right-hand side in towards Flynn Downs. And closed down there by Ollie Skip. To play back towards Harwood Bellis, and now it's with Ramsdale. Vardy, though, making a nuisance of himself like he likes to do. Goalkeeper then plays it out towards Bednarik, and then just trying to do a little bit too much there, Ryan Manning. In the end, he gets away with that because he has gone out for a throw to Southampton. So far, not really seen too much of a response from Southampton. I don't want to sort of keep harping on because they have had a difficult season, so we won't expect them to suddenly come out and score 3 goals in 10 minutes, but just want a little bit more of fight in terms of the attacking threat here from the visitors. They're attacking that end where their fans are just by the corner flag as well in the second half, so that certainly would give them a little bit of a cheer. As Dibbling now on the right-hand side holds it up, goes back towards Smallbone. Guchukwu now being closed down by Skip, playing it back towards Harwood Bellis. This is a nice long spell of possession for Southampton, but again, most of it's around about the halfway line or inside their own half. It needs to be in the final third. Well,
that's the issue. They've held on to the ball for a long period of time here, and it started round the back, and it's ended up round the back again. And now the forward ball comes in, and it's good play actually from Howard Bellis, potentially something building, and then it's given away, and Leicester have the ball once again. And the difference between these two sides, I think, is that Southampton, yes, they can hold on to the ball, but they don't go anywhere. Leicester aren't really interested in keeping hold of the ball. It's more just get the ball on the pitch as quickly as you can.
It is, and I think that's probably been, but the issue I think in this game is that with Leicester having that 2-goal lead, Southampton immediately are having to sort of try and play catch-up, which isn't something they've been particularly good at, even against a team who really have been very poor at home over the last 4 months or so. It's now at the edge of the Leicester City penalty area, but again, even with pressure here from Smallbone, it's still easy for that ball to find Ollie Skip, who's now got so much space. Like the central midfield just disappeared there for Southampton. Face now finding space down the left-hand side here for Thomas. He gets it into El Canouse. He wants it on his right foot. He goes for goal. A shot is charged down. There's another chance here at the edge of the area, but Manning is able to win that ball back for Leicester. And for Southampton, there's going to be a free kick to the visitors as well, as Onuachu was brought down by Justin.
Not sure about that one there from the referee. I think James Justin's reaction says it all there. He's absolutely fuming that's been given. I think he hooks his leg round the back of Onuachu and wins this ball cleanly, but one of those where, because there was just such a cluster of blue shirts around the forward, you're always going to be given the benefit of the doubt as the attacker there. So a chance for Southampton to get the ball downfield. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up back with the goalkeeper in about 30 seconds.
Well, absolutely. Ramsdale's going to take this free kick. It's about maybe 10 yards away from the centre circle on the Southampton side of their half of the field, and wait to see whether or not Ramsdale is going to be able to just get that right. If he's got the right golf club out here just to get the distance on this one, and he's pinged this one towards the edges. Probably just about the right ball there from Aaron Ramsdale, but it's headed across by Harwood Bellis, and Leicester get the second ball, although a loose ball in midfield has been won back by Manning, and suddenly there's half a chance here for Southampton. It's played out towards Dibbling on the right-hand side. He skips away from 2, then gets brought down by El Canouse. Again, there's not too much contact in that, but no situations the referee's likely to give it.
Yeah, I think he's played for that one majorly there, Tyler Dibbling, as El Canouse. I think he sticks a leg out, the Moroccan, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure how much of Dibbling he actually got there. I think Dibbling knew that he'd run out of room there as he tries to go past 1, then 2. But he wins his sort of free kick in a promising area. Smallbone's going to take it and whip this in towards that back post. Potentially an opportunity here for Leicester to do a bit of defending as Southampton try to get on the end of the ball.
Yeah, it needs to be the right ball in here from the right-hand side. And Leicester are set up at the edge of the box. Southampton have got a couple of players purposely stood offside as we speak. They have to get back onside as this ball is whipped in. It gets straight onto the head of Wout Face. Now, there's players from both sides hitting the deck. And certainly the way the Southampton players looked towards our referee, they were suggesting that maybe there was some kind of foul in there. I'm not too sure that Sam Barrett was too worried about that, although because Harwood Bellis is just sort of demonstrating that he's being pulled down to the ground. Let's just see if there's any sort of truth in this.
Look here, Harwood Bellis goes to ground. There's nothing in that. I'm afraid from a Southampton perspective, that's just sheer desperation. The referee's having a word with VAR, I think, but yeah, play immediately resuming. Nothing in that.
Yeah, just one quick check of the replay. I think they saw the same replay that we just did and decided, yeah, there's nothing doing with that one. There's going to be an in-swinging corner, though, at least a consolation here for Southampton. It's going to be whipped in here by Ryan Manning, although we can't do it yet. Referee just trying to do a little bit of housekeeping inside the box. It's the usual fare of telling the players not to push and shove each other. They'll say, of course not, ref, and then they'll do it exactly the same a second or two later. There's actually a player down on the ground here now as well. What's happened here with young Mr. McAteer? He's, Leslie Ogachukwu is a big, strong player, but if he glances past you like that, it's not going to throw you to the ground like he just did with McAteer.
No, it's soft, and again, we've seen one or two of that now. There's a bit of argy-bargy going on in the box. The referee needs to really get a handle on this now, because otherwise it's just going to spoil what has been a fairly decent game of football, especially from a Leicester point of view. They've got to keep their discipline, because if Southampton get one back, there's still 25 minutes left to go in this one. It's not, impossible that they could get a second as well.
No, it absolutely isn't. I think that Southampton, from their perspective, will still feel as though they're very much in this game. Referee just having to have a quick word now with Ogachukwu and Bednarik as well. Essentially the two battering rams of that Southampton attack when they have got set pieces. Manning's patiently waiting there on the right-hand side to be able to whip this ball in. But I do sometimes wonder whether, I made a joke about the fact that the players are going to do their second layer already, but it is true. The referees always say don't push and shove, but actually we know that when there's a set piece, there's so much more physicality that's allowed rather than any other time on the field. Here comes the ball in from Manning, aimed at the back post. It's not a bad ball, just needs a Southampton head on the end of it, and in the end it does get hit out for a goal kick after all of that. So a lot of build-up and absolutely nothing to show for it.
Yeah, Ogachukwu rising highest at the back post there, but the delivery was just too far towards that back post. No player could get on the end of it unless they're trying to pull the ball back, but even so, it's still so crowded, impossible really for Ogachukwu to cut that one back. Southampton fans still in fine voice in the sunshine over in Leicester, so good to see that. The spirit hasn't been crushed so far. We expect both clubs to be fairly positive going to the Championship next season.
Well, they have to be. As I say, it's that they're always going to be looked at as one of the favourite sides. Of course, it's a fascinating Championship season building already with, sort of rampant Birmingham City coming back into the Championship with their owners, and of course Wrexham. Can they go for a fourth straight promotion? That's certainly going to be something that some of the fans will be interested in. As Ogachukwu now, just to confirm, he must have got a yellow card for all the argy-bargy inside the penalty box there, because we've got confirmation now that he has got a yellow card. But yeah, it's hard to know how these two sides will fare next season. Of course, they're going to have plenty of changes. I would imagine that Ruud van Nistelrooy will be gone by next season, and Southampton will be looking for a new permanent manager as well. So there's all that to take care of, as well as potential signings. Dibbling now has the ball here for the Saints. Running straight into trouble there. El Khanous almost nicking the ball off him, but it's played back now towards Taylor Harwood-Bellis. He's playing that ball into Flynn Downs, who gets taken out by Ollie Skip, and it's almost like daring the referee to give him a yellow card, and the referee goes, all right, then I'll give you one then. Yeah,
it's a really poor challenge, and an unnecessary one was that, because Skip's just got to stay stride for stride there with Flynn Downs, and he would have easily shepherded him out towards the byline. Instead he flies in, the former Tottenham man, and earns himself a yellow card quite rightly.
Yeah, an easy decision, that one, for the referee. But we're over the three-quarter mark in the game now. 68 minutes gone. It is Leicester 2, Southampton 0, and it will be James to take us through to full-time.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. Just going to mention briefly as well, we've not seen anything of Jay Robinson, who came on the 57-minute mark. That's almost, over 10 minutes ago now. He's playing in the attack, but I don't think we've mentioned him touching the ball as of yet.
No, the ball got close to him on that right-hand side just before they got the free kick, but he's hardly had a touch. He's actually got a touch of the ball there after the referee's whistle went, but he's not been able to affect the game at all so far.
So it will be a free kick now to Leicester City after a foul coming in, I believe, from Onuachu on Jordan Ayew there. He's been in the wars a little bit so far, both in committing fouls against the referee and also taking some knocks himself, and he's now being substituted. Is the Ghanaian, and a good performance from him. The second goal he scored was spectacular. Just see a replay of it now. The first effort from the free kick's tame. Back off the wall, though. He slams that home on the volley with his left foot into the bottom corner, leaving Ramsdale no chance. A really good goal from him.
It is a very good goal from Ayew. He'll be very happy with that one. Really put his laces through it. And Ramsdale was unsighted, but even if he'd have seen that, the way it was flying into the corner, I'm not so sure he gets on the end of this. But this is the third time, I believe, I've seen this 15-year-old player. You can tell that he's under 18 because he's not allowed to have the betting sponsors logo on his match day shirt. But Jeremy Monga coming on the field now for Leicester.
Exciting moment for the youngster then. Does always look fairly unusual when the player just doesn't have that sponsor on, so they've let a fan on the pitch for the moment. But I'm sure he'll be wanting to make a big impact for this Leicester City side, who are in fairly good cruise control at the moment at the King Power Stadium. Here is Wilfred Ndidi, goes into El Kanous again. Fantastic feat from him to go away from his man. Now it's without face. Plays the ball overlapping towards Thomas. He lets it run instead towards McAteer. Cuts inside and goes backwards though, just desperate to hold onto the ball for the moment. Then a good ball wide into the feet of Justin. Overlapping ball again to Jeremy Monga. His first few touches for the moment, very distinctive because, as we mentioned, no sponsorship on the shirt, so that makes it fairly easy for me in this one. Now into the feet of Skip. He skips away from his man in Dibbling, then plays it wide towards Thomas. Leicester building something here in the attack. Now with McAteer again. Inside once more to Skip. Then infield to Ndidi. Ndidi back to Skip, and Leicester doing well to control this. Ndidi then dummies the ball, lets it run for Connor Cody, then back out wide towards Jeremy Monga again, gets the better of Robinson, then squaring up Manning, goes to the byline, puts a good ball in, and Manning gets a cross, promising there from the youngster. I think
this is good management here from Van Nistelrooy in bringing on Jeremy Monga in a game like this, because that is a bright spark. The fact that you've got a player who's still at schoolboy age, I'm not even sure if he's. I think he's in his GCSE year next year, so he really is a very young player. And absolutely, and that's what makes it. I think that you always get that excitement. I remember over the years I've seen a couple of 15-year-olds make their debut, and it really does sort of get the fans' emotions high that a young player from the local area is able to make his debut at such a young age.
Incredible, really. The 15-year-old appearing here, run the corner, it's flicked in, it finds Ndidi. Oh, he's just wide of the post. I believe it took a deflection. Indeed, it did. It will be a corner kick once again for Leicester, but how easy is that there for Leicester? That ball coming in there should never, ever be beating the front post.
Well, there's about 4 Southampton players who sort of ghost past before it gets through to Ndidi, and so there really would have been an inquiry into how that would have got it, how that would have been allowed to have been scored, but in the end it's just a short corner this time.
Monga on the ball now, goes back towards Ollie Skip. He's going to put a ball in with his right foot, but it's charged down by Smallbone. Gets it back though, and now Thomas dinks one forward. Good ball from him. It'll fall now for Monga. Closing down is Robinson. Robinson wins it back. Monga pressures him towards the byline and then clears long. But it's only going to come back at Southampton because it's straight into the feet of Skip. He goes back to face. Now back into Skip. Wide again to Ndidi. Monga offers his support down the line, but instead it's back into Skip, who goes back to face. And Southampton, it's a one-man press of Onuachu, who at the best of times isn't the most mobile of players, so it's becoming really, really difficult for them to even get a foot on the ball.
They're not able to lay a bit of a glove on Leicester at the moment. There seemed to be a little period at the start of the second half where there was a spring in the step. Then they brought a small ball down, and it felt like he was going to sort of try and encourage his teammates to get forward, but it's just very flat, and Leicester are very comfortable on the ball, which is something we haven't said very often this season. Just to say very quickly that George Hurst has got an equaliser for Ipswich. It's now 2-2 between Everton and Ipswich at Goodison Park.
Doesn't look like that we'll see a similar scoreline in this one though. Southampton really have not laid a glove, as you say, on Leicester City in either the first or the second half of football. It's going to be a throw-in though for Leicester on the far side within their own half. Goes back to Ndidi, who plays it all the way back to Cody. He then drives forward almost from his own goal line there. Plays it down the line towards Thomas, and even now it's just so easy for Leicester to move the ball around the pitch, especially their own half. I mean, there's 3 Southampton players in the Leicester half. When Leicester have the ball back with the goalkeeper, it's just poor on a professional level as well. And you do feel for the travelling fans that have made their way down here to see not only their side get beat, which I presume they will now with 17 minutes left to go and the scoreline being 2-0 to the home side, but not even really put much of an effort in to try and win this ball back.
No, and I mean we've seen a couple of protest banners from Leicester fans this afternoon. They're unhappy with the situation in the back room, and I dare say if we are Southampton fans, they could probably give us chapter and verse of similar things. It's just the idea that decisions are made perhaps a little bit too quickly, and say the right signings haven't been made, and then once you're in a mode of trying to sort of avoid relegation right from day one, then it's very difficult. But we'll take a break off from that because here comes Smallwood now. A decent chance here for Southampton. He gets brought down, but he wasn't fouled, says the referee, which is good news for Leicester because it was Skip that committed the foul. That could have been a second yellow.
I mean, he's really either got away with one or made a fantastic challenge there, Skip. I mean, I'm not quite sure which one.
Well, I mean, I would say that even if it is a fantastic challenge, it's still bordering on reckless when he's already got a yellow card doing that.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Skip, known for often finding his name being written down regularly by referees across both the Championship and the Premier League, where he, of course, has played a lot of his football, but gets away with one there because Smallbone really was racing away, but not one of the fastest players in a Southampton shirt, so perhaps Leicester fortunate again in that regard. Down now to Jeffrey Monger, does well to skip away from 1 then 2, fantastic play from the 15-year-old. Back now towards Justin, then into Ndidi. Leicester certainly seem to have unearthed a bit of a diamond in Jeremy Monger thus far in the bits that I've seen. Wow, El Khanouchi has been absolutely clotheslined there by Harwood Bellis. That'll be a free kick. Somehow not a yellow card for Harwood Bellis there, because it is a yellow card.
There is, yeah.
I was going to say, because that is a real big challenge there.
Yeah, safety first from the referee after everything we've had today. He checks on the injured player first, but he had a yellow card in hand. It's clumsy from Harwood Bellis. He just doesn't stop his movement towards El Khanouchi, which he could have done. But it's almost like he wasn't too bothered about clattering into him, so the referee won't be too bothered about showing him a yellow.
Well, while Leicester City are a side that are going down, El Khanouchi seems to be a player that is only going to go up. He's been fantastic today, an assist to his name, but his all-round performance has been so good. It's so refreshing to see a player like this in a side where, yes, they've suffered, but he wants the ball. He wants the ball and he wants to take players on, and he's clearly enjoying his football.
He is, and that's what fans enjoy. That's what fans want to see, is players, applying that to skill they've got to actually turn it into something a bit more entertaining, a little bit more earnest. And I say El Khanouchi has had a very good game today, but they will stand back because it's going to be a free kick here from Jamie Vardy.
Now, 199 goals for Leicester City, Jamie Vardy has. This could be some way to get you 200th. The Leicester City captain stands over it. I don't believe I've ever seen him take a free kick before.
I don't think so. I say he doesn't get too many free kicks, that's for sure.
It's going to be a right-footed effort from him. Steps up, lines it up, has a strike on goal! It's saved! It's saved. The rebound's there. He's been taken out there. Is that going to be a penalty? Nothing given. I did think it would be a little bit harsh, potentially.
I just wonder whether or not Vardy's actually gone into the man himself. Although the referee has just said wait with the goal kick, so it may well be that VAR wants to double-check this. But Vardy's initial effort, it's a good one. It's a decent save that from the goalkeeper. And so, I don't know, maybe looking at that, it may well be that Robinson is getting there first ahead of Vardy. This replay here from behind the goal might answer that question for us. We didn't even get it shown, but the fact that the game is now resuming, they obviously felt VAR, there was nothing in that one.
I think it would have been very harsh against the youngster Tyler Dibbling there. Not really a lot he could have done in that situation, because I think you're right, Vardy just kind of throws himself at that one, hoping to feel some contact and go down, which he does, but arguably not enough contact according to the referee. Here is Harwood Bellis, goes backwards to Bednarek, then down the line, it's played towards the feet of Robinson, can't get there, Justin does well, Justin then bundled over, that's surely a free kick, but again, the referee being fairly lenient in this one, letting that one go.
Yeah, it's a funny one with Sam Barrett in this game, because he's let a few things go, but then at other times he has also been quite pedantic with a couple of other decisions, but he's obviously felt as though there was enough of an attempt to play the ball that he didn't have to blow for a free kick, and here come Leicester now down the left.
Thomas on the ball, dinks one down the line towards the feet of McAteer. He's not going to get there. Good defending from Harwood Bellis. Dinks one backwards, and that's a good pass as well into Kyle Walker-Peters. Although McAteer is quickly on his toes, so Southampton recycle. Here's Harwood Bellis. Now Flynn Downs. Shirks away from one challenge, then is taken out by McAteer. That'll be a free kick, and Flynn Downs takes it quickly into the feet of Ogachukwu. Sideways ball into Bednarek, looking to try and progress the Saints downfield. He's ventured a good 30-40 yards there, and then plays the ball out wide. Here is Robinson on the ball now, cuts in field. It's Manning, dinks one forward. It's held up well by Noachu, but then he's brought down. Referee will play on though as it's picked up by Walker-Peters. Overlapping ball towards Dibbling. Chance now for the number 33 to really get at that Leicester defence. Instead though, he's looking to turn, and then eventually dinks one into the back post. It's not a bad ball. Onuachu underneath it. No, he's not. The cross evades him. Goes out of play for a goal kick, and just when you think Southampton are looking to build something, looking to get a goal back, it comes to nothing.
Been a false dawn after false dawn for Southampton in this game, just like most of this season really, but they're making another change here now. It looks like it's going to be one more player, so it's Cameron Archer coming on here for Leslie Ogachukwu, so that is quite an attacking change really there from Simon Rusk.
It absolutely is. Just wondering how Southampton are going to line up now, and I'm not quite certain, to be honest, whether that's going to
4-2-4 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, whether that's going to maybe force Dibbling more narrow, or maybe move in Robinson, I'm not quite sure, but certainly you'd imagine Walker-Peters and Manning will have to drop a little bit deeper now. They were already kind of adopting a bit of a four-back, but that'll certainly be extenuated now with the removal of a holding midfield, you'd think.
Yeah, there has to be, absolutely. They can't just keep, because as I say, that we've noticed that for most of this match anyway, that their shape hasn't looked great anyway, but now if they're going to have this very top-heavy attacking side chasing a game later on. That might just leave far too many spaces now for Leicester.
Indeed, he gives away a free kick on Manning. Manning then dinks it long towards Flynn Downs, but only sideways. Downs then brings it forward. Out wide now towards Walker-Peters. Squared up by Justin. Goes infield to Downs again. Now Smallbone. Wide ball on the left towards Manning is on. Manning now on the ball. Goes down the line towards Robinson. He steps inside, but it goes back to Manning, and still Southampton looking to build, but incrementally so. Here's Smallbone. Goes backwards once more to Harwood-Bellis. Harwood-Bellis, his only option really is to go forward into the feet of Dibbling. Dibbling backwards to Harwood-Bellis. And it is very much a zigzag around the centre circle ready for Southampton in terms of their progressive passing. Manning now to Smallbone. Smallbone forward. And that's into Onuachu, and Southampton have moved the ball forward, but then given it away, and that's really been symptomatic of this entire game. Great feet there from Jeremy Monga. Gets away from his man, not once but twice. Now feeds it into El Canusi, goes on the right hand side, dinks the ball in. Dibbling's there to clear into the air, and Southampton look to have survived it momentarily, and indeed they have. Manning now brings it forward. I tell you what, Jeremy Monga looks like such an exciting player.
He does, he really does, and I say this is the third time I believe that I've seen him come on as a substitute for Leicester City. I was lucky enough to commentate when he made his debut for the Foxes, and it is great to see. And what I do like about him is that obviously the coaching staff here at Leicester would have seen this, but he's very confident. He believes in his own ability. He doesn't stand out as looking like a 15-year-old playing amongst these 25 and 30-year-old experienced footballers, and that's credit to him. Absolutely.
4 goals in 18 appearances for the Leicester City Academy so far this season. 13 appearances for the under-18s as well, and even that as a 15-year-old is really something. But having made 3 Premier League appearances for the men's side at the age of 15 is truly indicative of a player with a lot of potential.
Somebody who started to feel a little bit old, I think it's quite scary that I'm now seeing footballers born in 2009 who are now playing the pro game. It's time really is cracking on, but fair play to Monga. He's looked good when he's come on today, and ironically, with Leicester dropping into the Championship, that might give him more first-team opportunities next season.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have thought if they'd have stayed up, he would have been loaned out to maybe a club in that division anyway, so potentially this could be a really good thing for his career, because he's staying at the same club and doesn't have to move or have to go through any of that at such a young age, but still is going to be able to still have first team opportunities.
Absolutely, yes, in between doing his homework as well, of course. Which but absolutely wonderful to see him playing here today. And from Leicester's point of view, this will be a little bit of pressure relieved off Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's had a very, very tough time of it. As I say, no wins, no goals for Leicester at home in the calendar year before today, so they'll be absolutely delighted with the way things have gone this afternoon. Doesn't save their season from being a poor season, but break off from that though, because here comes Southampton.
Indeed they do. Walker-Peters coming forward now. Good challenge from Ndidi though. Leicester win it back through without face. He dinks one out towards Thomas. Good ball. That's brought down well now. They overlap in front from El Canusi. It's a 3v2 if they can get this right here, Leicester. One of those is Monga, but El Canusi might go himself. He does! Oh, it's just dragged wide of the post, and whilst Jeremy Monga may only be 15 years of age, you'd imagine he might be thinking he should have got the ball there.
He should have done, but then with how well El Canusi has played and with the scoreline being what it is, I'm not that disappointed about him going for goal. I'm just disappointed he didn't do better, because he could have done better. He was pretty much running straight down the middle and then just cut his run a little bit over towards the right-hand side, and the effort in the end is dragged wide. But if that was 0-0, I would expect him to pass there, because there were options to go left or right. But I think that on that occasion he's got every right to go for goal.
He probably should have gone to the right-hand side of the goal there, actually. As a right-footed player, as he comes across it, going for the left corner, trying to beat Aaron Ramsdale from there. He's always going to be dragging that effort towards the left. Indeed he does, whereas if he goes with his right, it's always curling towards goal rather than away for it. So still certainly some things to be learned from the Moroccan, but I mean, it's just so exciting to watch it in general, and you'd imagine will be the spearhead of Leicester's attack next season. Good challenge there from Manning, just go straight through. Indeed, that will go out of play for a throw-in to Leicester City. No, to Southampton instead, I apologise. So Manning goes over to take. Potentially looks like there's going to be a substitution for Leicester. The referee just pausing. Indeed there will be another change coming in here for Leicester, and it looks though it's going to be another young player to take the field for the Foxes potentially.
Yeah, another player who hasn't got a sponsor's name on his shirt. I believe this is the young Jake Evans coming on now. Yes, a 16-year-old, so he's a veteran compared to Jeremy Monga. But it's Vardy, El Canusi and McAteer that are getting there, because there's going to be a triple change here towards the end of the game. And it's Patson Daka, Boubakary Samare and young Jake Evans to come on and replace them.
Indeed, so 2 players having a sensational moment at the King Power. It's Jamie Vardy that leaves the field of play. He'll have one more game at home at the King Power. I mean, what a send-off I assume he'll be getting in that one as well. He's scored a goal today, as he has done for so many games for Leicester City. 199 he's up to now. And, well, that was a really special goal. Vintage, really, Jamie Vardy play there. The left-footed strike into the top corner.
Yeah, absolutely. It's those quick fire shots from just to come out of nowhere. Then the way that Vardy's always been so good at that. So if I have to pick a favourite, I still think that sort of running volley he got against Liverpool in title winnings. That's probably my favourite Vardy goal. And the celebration as well. He certainly, and whilst we're quickly on Vardy, so I do like the way that he always knows which opposing fans to wind up the most. He was always so good at that. And the few times when he did score at Bramall Lane, being a lifelong Sheffield Wednesday fan, he knew that the Sheffield United fans were going to give him grief, and he just stood there and took it. And I think that there's not too many players around like that these days.
Absolutely not. Dying breed, really, in the modern game of football. But really good to see him still going at his age, still leading the line with plenty of exuberance, and playing 35 minutes after the career that he's had and the longevity he's had as well is certainly something to be admired. Here is Southampton on the ball now. Wide ball towards Harwood Bellis. He's got a chance to dink one forward potentially, and does so. It's up towards the feet of Onuachu. Not going to find him though, and Thomas will put that one down the line. Flicked on by Skip. You'd imagine really Skip would have been the ideal change for Samari, being on a yellow card.
Yeah, I think so as well. Maybe that's a bit of a test for him. Maybe because it's a game where there's only a few minutes left, or maybe Van Nistelrooy wanted to leave Skip out there. Maybe it was just a case that he wants those three holder midfielders now, so he takes off El Kanous and brings on Samari to join the other two. And maybe a bit of that in Van Nistelrooy's thinking as well. But yeah, the way this game's gone, it has had moments of physicality, but it hasn't really felt like a sort of dirty game, really, has it? So maybe he felt like Skip could trust himself on that yellow card.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fairly tame, despite there being plenty of stoppages in this one. Both sets of players clearly mutual respect between, and of course in a game where both sides are already down, there's not really much at stake in this one other than pride. And something else we've not really mentioned is momentum going into the Championship next season. If you finish the end of the year on a high note, even if you are going down with few points and wins, at least you then have confidence next season that you're going to be able to go and smash the Championship.
Absolutely. I think that particularly, and that means so much more when you have had such a difficult season, because you remember those last few games and you almost try and block out the others. And yeah, absolutely, if you could finish the season in a little bit more of a positive frame of mind, everyone goes away for the summer hoping that things are going to be improving next season. But here come Leicester now. Here's
Daka, the recently introduced substitute, and he falls over. And that is, epitome of Patterson Daka, really, in a Leicester City shirt. He's hardly been the most clinical striker they've had in years, especially compared to his striking teammate in Vardy there. He gets a bit unlucky when he slips over.
He was unlucky there. I mean, he's had some moments for Leicester, Patterson Daka. I mean, he has always been the sort of first sub for Jamie Vardy. That makes it a bit more difficult. But remember, there was a game, I believe, either away in Ukraine or in Russia, where he scored 4 in one game when Leicester were playing in the Conference League or Europa League. So certainly, he has had his moments, but it's going to be very difficult. Any striker playing with Vardy in the same team, the way that Vardy's been at Leicester, they're always going to be a bit overshadowed, aren't they?
I mean, you have to feel for him to an extent, because he's still only a young attacker, and he's been kept on the bench by an almost 40-year-old Jamie Vardy at times, so it's always going to be difficult for him to develop as a striker. Southampton with a free kick, launch it into the box, Leicester half clear, and then through Monga, clears it downfield, Skip, and it's El Kanous actually the closest to chasing the ball, but Leicester happy now to sit back and defend. There's 87 minutes on the clock, nearly 88, it's independent off-tube studio coverage of Leicester Southampton. It's currently 2-0 to the Foxes after goals from Jamie Vardy and a stunner coming in from Jordan Ayew as well, both in quick succession. Free kick now given away to Southampton. Kyle Walker-Peters brought down by Patterson Daka. That'll be an interesting one from this set piece potentially. It's a very central area, so always going to be difficult to put a ball in, but Smallbone goes over to take it. Of course, part of the playoff winning side last season. Smallbone scored in the final league game of the season as well against Leeds United in a 4-3 victory at Ellen Road, and then about 2 weeks later went on to beat the Whites at Wembley as well in the final, but hasn't really been able to make a mainstay for himself in the starting 11 so far this season. Still only about 23 years of age, and potential next season in the Championship as well to progress his career. But he stands over this set piece for the moment, one arm raised, right foot delivery, it's very lofted towards that back post, towards Howard Bellis, who wins the initial header, but there is Wilfred Indeed to head behind for a corner kick. A minute to go before the 90's up.
Minutes ago before the 90's up, yes, absolutely, and going to get a corner kick here to Southampton with, I'd say just before we hit injury time. If they could get a goal back here, then things get very interesting all of a sudden. It's going to be an in-swing up from the left-hand side.
It will indeed. Onuachu, obviously, one of the main targets here, as will be Harwood Bellis. Ball is put into the boxes towards Harwood Bellis. It's not been won in the air by him, though, and it'll be picked up by Kyle Walker-Peters. He tries to get away from his man in Monga. Now finds Dibbling with a bit of space. Dinks one into the box. It's not a bad one. Flynn Downs there with the header. Then it's, headed up into the air by Onuachu and claimed by Wout Fass, who will then let that trickle for Southampton in goal for Leicester. It will just wind on the clock in these late moments. There's been a major goal in League 2. We've not really mentioned scores on the doors, but Bradford City have clinched promotion in the 94th minute with a goal at home to Fleetwood. You imagine Valley Parade will be absolutely rocking at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Big one that's for Bradford. Down in terms of the playoff position, Salford have only drawn away to relegated Carlisle, whereas Chesterfield are 1-0 up away to Accrington, so it looks like Chesterfield are going to nick that last playoff spot as well.
Almost poetic justice as well, really, that Walsall have been winless for a couple of months now and then have won a game on the final day, but to no avail because Bradford have won as well.
No, that's right. So it's looking like it's going to be Walsall, AFC Wimbledon, Notts County and Chesterfield to play in the League 2 playoffs. In League 1, quickly have a look at that. Just to confirm, we've had 4 minutes of added time added to our game. It's going to be Stockport, Charlton, Wickham and Leyton Orient.
Certainly games to watch out for then across the EFL.
All of those will be on our service as well. Just add that starting probably by Thursday or Friday next week. There's around 3 minutes of interest still to play. Man of the match, I think we're both going to say it's El Canouse, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. The youngster has been really good in the attack, progressed the ball so well, and I think my favourite quality about him is just that fearlessness that he has for his game, where he gets the ball and he doesn't want to recycle possession, he doesn't want to keep things too simple, he wants to take people on, and it's one thing having the mindset to do that, it's another to be able to back it up, and thankfully he has both, and he's a really exciting player for Leicester.
He is, he really is, and if they can hold on to it, depending on what the contract and transfer value situation is, he will certainly be a real asset for them next season, but it may well be just a little bit too much to expect him to drop down into the Championship. But Southampton, to their credit, they're trying to fight on it towards the end, and they're doing a little bit more injury time, but it's the same as the rest of the game. There's just not been enough to really put Leicester under some serious pressure.
Absolutely not. It's been a fairly routine afternoon really for Thomas, Fass, Cody and Justin at the back. I think James Justin has probably attacked more than he's defended, and by a long way as well, I must say as well. He's been hardly threatened down that left-hand side by Manning at all. He's had a lot of defence to himself. However, attack now for Southampton. It's bobbling around. It's fallen for Onuachu. Poked away there by Cody, I believe, at the back. No, James Justin's the one who intervenes. Corner kick to come for Southampton. 2 minutes left of additional time. We'll have to see if Manning can get the delivery right at the end.
Yeah, I think Leicester were expecting an offside that never came. And after that, but Justin suddenly realised he had to do anything with it, so he just put it out for a corner. It's going to be an outswinger here from Ryan Manning.
It will indeed. Leicester with a final bit of defending to do in this one. Outswinging towards the edge of the box. Header comes in! It's just wide! I thought for a moment the camera had deceived me and it had beaten the goalkeeper at the near post. It's actually a really good effort from Onuachu, because that ball is really far behind him.
Just the wrong side of the post if you're of Southampton persuasion. And he actually does well to get himself into that position as well there, Paul Onuachu, because the ball's slightly getting away from him. Archik was sort of getting low, but I'm not sure if he would have made it if it had been. He does get a nick off somebody because it's going to be another corner.
Indeed, it will. So, been fooled once. Try not to be fooled again as the corner comes in, but this time, very easy to work out what's happened because Connor Cody has rose highest and headed that one away. It'll come back to Manning though. Squared up on that far side against the recently introduced youngster, the number 91 in Jake Evans, 16 years of age, playing on the same side as teammate Jeremy Mongo, who's 15 years of age. That must be the youngest side, right-hand side in the Premier League this season, perhaps ever.
It's quite scary. Two Premier League players on the pitch are still combined 10 years younger than me. Not awful. But anyway, we go. That aside, Ollie Skipp's going off, and he's getting a good round of applause. He had a decent game this afternoon here, Ollie Skip, and he's being replaced for the last final few seconds here by Mike Golding. Another young player here for Leicester City, who does actually have his. He's actually 18, so he can actually have the shirt sponsor on his shirt. But again, another young player here for Leicester City, brought in from the Chelsea youth setup.
Indeed. So another opportunity now for another young player for Leicester. Good to see Van Nistelrooy actually giving these players the run out, because obviously, in the grand scheme of things, not going to mean much to the result for either side, but for them, it's such a massive moment in their careers, and there's a chance here now for Patterson Daka to break away. It's a 2v1 if he can square the ball now, because there's a chance for Jake Evans, and no, Daka doesn't square it. He's gone to try and put the ball in. It's come off Walker Peters and gone down for a corner.
It has. I think he was trying to square it, in fairness, Patson Daka. I don't believe he was shooting for goal, but maybe he could have just concentrated on this pass. I mean, the worry for Southampton here is that's across from Smallbone, 25 yards out from Leicester's goal, and 2 passes later. There's nobody inside the Southampton half. Daka's moving forward. In fairness, Walker Peters is the only man covering, and he does the job and makes sure that it goes out for a corner, which we only have time for. It's all over.
It is indeed. Finish at the King Power. Leicester City 2, Southampton 0.